It was the kind of desert heat that made the air shimmer like a veil of glass. Claire Bennett, a young nurse from Phoenix, was driving through northeastern Arizona on a lonely stretch of Route 160. The landscape stretched endlessly, red earth, jagged mesas, and a sky so wide it made her feel small, like a speck in an ancient painting. She had taken the road trip to escape the exhaustion of city life and the ache of her recent divorce, hoping the silence of the desert could quiet her own scattered thoughts. Her car sputtered and jerked, pulling her out of her reverie. The engine coughed and died. With a frustrated sigh, she coasted to the side of the road, dust swirling around her. There was no cell signal. Just the endless road and the whisper of the wind. And that's when she saw him. An elderly man, collapsed at the edge of the highway, skin darkened like worn leather, a tangle of silver hair spilling over his shoulders. His lips were cracked, eyes half closed. His chest rose shallowly, barely breathing. His clothes were worn, traditional Navajo attire faded by sun and sand. Without hesitation, Claire grabbed the half-empty water bottle from her passenger seat and ran toward him. Her nursing instincts took over, pulse weak, skin dangerously dry, breathing shallow. "Sir?" she asked gently, kneeling beside him. His eyelids flickered but did not open. She tilted the bottle and slowly trickled water into his parched lips. His throat moved. Another sip. And another. After a few moments, his eyelids opened just enough to reveal warm, amber-brown eyes. "Thank you," he rasped, the words brittle as dry leaves. She spent hours with him on that roadside, rationing water, shading him with her scarf, speaking softly as the sun arced westward. Eventually, a passing truck stopped, and with their help, Claire got the man to the nearest reservation clinic 30 miles away. Once there, the attending physician assured her he would recover. Dehydration and exhaustion, they said, he had likely been walking for days under the punishing desert sky. Claire prepared to leave, assuming her part in this small story was done. But just as she rose to her feet, the old man gripped her hand. His palm was rough but steady now. "Come," he whispered. "Please, meet my family." Out of respect, and curiosity she couldn't explain, Claire agreed. They drove deep into the reservation, down winding dusty roads flanked by sandstone cliffs and ancient juniper trees. His home was modest, a small hogan made of wood and mud, surrounded by a scattering of other homes and sheep corrals. Waiting outside were nearly 24 people, sons, daughters, grandchildren, all with the same warm, amber eyes. The old man's name was B'nai Yazi, a respected elder and keeper of his tribe's traditional stories and songs. He had left days ago to gather sacred herbs for an upcoming ceremony, but exhaustion and heat had overtaken him. As Claire stepped out of the car, his family encircled her. They touched her shoulders, pressed their foreheads gently to hers, a Navajo gesture of deep gratitude. "You did not just save our father," one of the daughters said quietly, her voice thick with emotion. "You saved the history of our people." B'nai, it turned out, was the last fluent speaker of certain ancient songs, healing chants, and legends that had been passed orally for generations. His sudden death would have severed an irreplaceable link to their ancestry. Claire was stunned. Her simple act, giving water to a stranger, had preserved an entire cultural legacy. She stayed on the reservation for a few days, and one evening B'nai invited her to a sacred gathering. Under a blanket of stars, they sat around a crackling fire as he chanted the Blessing Way, an ancient song of healing and harmony. Though the language was foreign to her, Claire felt something deep stir within, a universal hum that transcended words. "You have a healer's heart," B'nai told her afterward, resting a hand over her chest. "You gave me water. Now, let us give you something in return." In the following months, Claire returned to the reservation often. B'nai and his family welcomed her like kin. She learned not only about Navajo healing but about resilience, forgiveness, and the strength of community. Slowly, the broken pieces of her own life began to mend. 2 years later, Claire left her hospital job in Phoenix and helped establish a mobile medical clinic serving indigenous communities across Arizona and New Mexico. The project was partially funded by grants, but even more by the goodwill and collaboration of the Navajo people, many of whom remembered her as the nurse who had saved their elder. One day, as she finished setting up the clinic under the desert sun, Benet, older and slower now, approached her. He handed her a small, hand-woven pouch containing turquoise stones, considered a symbol of life, protection, and healing in Navajo culture. "Water gave me life," he said softly. "But kindness gave us all something greater." Claire's eyes brimmed with tears. She had come to the desert to escape her pain, and instead found a family, a purpose, and a truth deeper than she'd ever known. One small act of kindness can ripple across generations, weaving unseen threads of connection that change lives forever. And as the wind danced across the red cliffs, Claire smiled, her heart fuller than it had ever been.